I'm not quitting skating. I currently like it a little bit too much. However, I think there are times in your life where it's the correct decision to take an extended break. And I think there are a couple reasons that I'm saying this. You guys might be like, why would I ever want to take a break from skateboarding? Especially if you're young. You're like, this shit's gonna be forever. However, as we grow older, it becomes really apparent that our priorities just change. Everyone tells you that. You don't really think it's gonna happen to you, but it really kind of slowly does. And I think there's just gonna be times in your life where you're skating a lot, and there's gonna be other times where you're not skating that much. However, I don't think taking a break or quitting for the moment is bad. All right, before I really get into this, I gotta show you guys these shoes. So Pleashoes was actually nice enough to send me these replica carpet dunk highs. Like I've always loved this colorway since it came out, but I'm just not the type of guy to spend like a ridiculous amount of money on any shoe that I plan on skating. So I'll probably make a video comparing these to some dunk lows and how they skate in the future. But these things are like spot on. The material they have is like exactly like the same like holographic type material. The leather's real good. I mean, the details all around this thing are just crazy. And I haven't had a dunk high since about 2013. So maybe these will help me have the best time skateboarding. Go check them out in the link in the description. Plee also sent me some lows a couple months ago, and I'm still skating those and still wearing them. So they're really good quality. Yeah, so in my life, I've had very similar cycles. So I've technically been skating since around 2012, and I've taken multiple like 6-month breaks throughout my life. And I think the longest stretch that I've been like consistently skating, meaning at least once a week, has been since late 2017 when I started taking this whole like YouTube thing a little bit more seriously.
Hi.
Okay.
I sort of peaked from like, I really liked skating from 2018 to like mid to early 2021. And I mean, I've had plenty of sessions since then that I've like had a great time on. When I went to LA, like those last few times, I had a fantastic time. It was like my favorite times like skating, arguably in my life.
You got it. You got it. Don't be a bitch, bro. You got it.
I'm so scared.
Look, you and your homies like, what the fuck?
Holy fuck,
Oh, beautiful. That was really beautiful.
However, as of like right now, I'm a little bit burnt out, and there's a couple reasons for this I can't control. One of them being the sun sets at like fucking 3 p.m. and it's like 32 degrees after then. So skating at night is just no fun at all. Like it sucks. And the winter does this to me every year. But another reason goes a little bit more into like the like brain and the way that like we age and think about things a little bit more than you may expect. So I recently found this guy called Andrew Huberman. He was on the 9 Club podcast, and he's like a Stanford professor neuroscientist. And this guy knows his stuff for real. He does also have a background in skateboarding. He had a really good way of like explaining things. I listened to this whole podcast. Well, I don't even listen to podcasts that much. This was one of the only ones that I listened to. Don't know how I found it, but it was a great podcast. He talked on this one thing that really piqued my interest, mainly about like dopamine thresholds. And it was like a concept that I already sort of knew, but didn't think about too much or relate to my own life. And it was about how like, I guess the way that like a lot of you may have heard this is when people get addicted to drugs, you hear stories of just like the first time they did it, it just like they needed that. And whereas like the first time they did that, they were just like, they knew that that drug was like had them. Like, and they always say they've been chasing that first high ever since. I think he talked about how something similar happens with like just things in your life, and you don't want to get too high and you don't want to get too low. You want to keep it like your baseline around the mid. Like stay as close to the middle as you can. A way that I could relate this to skateboarding is think about the first kickflip you've ever landed. And for me, that was like damn near 10 years ago. And I still remember it. I remember like the clothes I was wearing. I remember where I did it. I remember what the weather was like. And to this day, I've never done a kickflip down a gap, on flat ground, anywhere that ever felt as good or as memorable as that first kickflip I ever did. And it's almost like, in a way, I've been like chasing that high of like landing that kickflip my whole life. But nowadays, instead of my threshold being all I have to do is land it and I'm happy, now my threshold is like, I have to do it. It has to both feel good, look good, and everything just has to be perfect on it. Otherwise, I'm like, well, that was a shitty kickflip. It doesn't like hit the same that it used to. Huberman was talking about the only way to like sort of reverse this is to give yourself like extended breaks and give yourself time away from the things that you like. And that's when I started thinking, I was like, maybe I'll give myself like purposefully like avoid skateboarding for a little bit, because at the point in my life I'm at now, it's really hard for me mainly get out and skate, because skateboarding takes a lot of time to learn tricks. And that's the other way. Like, if you're never really gonna be satisfied with all the tricks you have, I think a few exceptions to that are like grinds on transition, I think always are gonna feel good. Like hitting nice pool coping, like back front 50. Those are things that like always feel good, which is why I'm skating a little bit more in transition than I used to, because street skating is just like, at best, I'm like that was good. But at worst, I'm just like really frustrated that like things aren't working out. And I think a lot of this really has to do with like my threshold being really high and the standards I put on myself, which I realize now is like definitely a toxic trait. But I think I need like a little bit of a break to try to like, I'm pretty much on a journey to try to like bring the fun back into skateboarding at like maximum capacity. And I think the way that I need to do that is by avoiding skateboarding for a little bit. It's kind of like a relationship. You spend too much time with someone, you're gonna get burnt out with them. So I'm distancing myself a little bit, but not really. I still don't think I can go more than 2 weeks without stepping on a board. I just lose my mind. But I'm not gonna force myself to do it every time I have free time. Not that I ever really forced myself, it was always my decision. It's just from now on until the end of the winter, I'm more gonna be like, I'm gonna be like, do I really wanna go skateboarding right now, or could I do something else? That's the frame of thought that I'm gonna try to have going into these next like 3 months. Whereas before it was like, oh, I have free time, boom, I'm going to the skate park or I'm going skateboarding right now. It's just like how I was like, it's the habits that I create in my head.
Which I gladly do and which I fully embrace. Automatic. Still is.
So I'm gonna try to like actively think, do I really want to do this right now? And I think that is a good mentality that anybody can have, even if you're not like in the same sort of scenario I'm in, where your thresholds are just really high. Real quickly, with winter coming up, snowboarding is another thing I really love. And snowboarding is something that forces you to take breaks. Take extended breaks, to wait until the snow comes back. And I notice every year, right before the season starts, I'm at maximum, I wanna go snowboarding right now. Can't wait. You wake up at like 6 a.m. to go and get on the mountain that like first day that they're open, and you have no regrets. It's like you want to do this more than anything. And as soon as all you got to do is ride down the hill and you're having the best time. Whereas the last day of the year, there's a couple things going through my head. One, I usually snowboard at least once a week, so I expect that I'm gonna be better at the end than I am at the beginning. And if I'm only a little bit better, then my threshold is higher, and I go into the session expecting to be landing tricks and expecting to like be clean. Whereas the first day on hill, all I'm really expecting is to snowboard. It's really just like, I feel like a little bit more pressure that I always put on myself. And the only way that I reset this like pressure is by waiting, just giving myself a little break. So that's pretty much where I'm at right now with skateboarding. And I don't know, I feel like people can relate to this. I've been extremely busy the past 3 weeks, which is why I haven't had a video up. I got a little sick like 2 weeks ago. So on top of that, like I just wasn't making a video. So here I am now. Still plan on uploading about once a week, because like I said, I'll probably be skating at least once a week. But yeah, that's just where I'm at right now. All right, we're doing another weekly board giveaway. If you saw my last FA video, the unboxing, I still have like all of those boards left except the white hockey board. So just fill out all the instructions in the description below, and we'll probably be giving out 2 boards this week because I missed a week. Yeah, go check it out. Thank you guys for watching this far yet again. I'll see you on the next one. Peace out, mates.